introducing a grandparent speech, Karma Yoga with Prachi Joshi. Prachi Joshi, Karma Yoga.
Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. That means yoga is skill in action. Based on Karma Yoga, an action becomes skillful when it is done with excellence, detachment, and selflessness. When action is done with these skills, a person becomes peaceful and gets equanimity to face any situation in life. Is it possible to really live such kind of life? But I know one person who did that, and that was my grandma, my Aji. The first element of Karma Yoga is just doing actions. My Aji's life was full of actions. She was not a strong, stout lady. She was a petite person. A typical Marathi lady, always wore 9-yard sarees, a big bun, a big bindi, dusky complexion, a cheering face, and black glittering eyes. She was born in a big joint family of 4 brothers. She was born in Indore. She was one of 9 siblings, and she used to say at one point of time there used to be average 20 children in the house. It was so much fun, but imagine there must be so much work to maintain such a big family. And one of her uncles were a lawyer, so there used to be guests, festivals in the house, and celebrations. So that's where I think she got her ability of working hard. At age of 19, she was married to my grandfather, my Azuba. He was also living in Indore. It wasn't as big a family, but still it was, there were 3 brothers. And it was her house, so she had responsibility for her house. My Azuba was a dharmic person. He was involved in the mandir work. So they used to arrange festivals in mandir. My Azuba had a guru. He was a kirtankar. So whenever he visited Indore, along with his devotees, my Aji and Azuba used to host them in their house. So you can imagine there must be so much work with her maternal family, new family, her mandir work, her guru's work. So it was all action. She must be on her toes all the time. But it is just the action that makes it Karma Yoga. It needs to be done with skills. So the first skill is excellence. Mayaji used to put her heart in whatever she did. Practice, practice, practice is needed to excel in any kind of work. She didn't do it deliberately, but all the work she was doing, it was just usual for her to get that excellence. She had great passion for learning and education. She took up her matriculation with his first child, that was my father. Imagine starting studies after having 4 children and maintaining such a busy household. But she wrote the exam with my father and she passed it. After that, she started working in a Montessori school as a teacher. She used to say education is a great weapon and everybody should yield it. When my mother got married, she had just finished her first year of graduation. But my Aji ensured that she finished her graduation. And we couldn't escape that blunt of education. We had to do great in our education as well. The other skill of Karma Yoga is detachment. So one shouldn't be attached to the results of his karma. My Aji used to say a motto regarding all the festivals or celebrations she was involved in. It is in Marathi. It is आपण आपलं जपावं, दुसऱ्याला यश द्यावं. That means you take care of your part of work and give the success, let others enjoy the success. This is such an important lesson for a Karyakarta as well, that we should be taking care of our part, we should be doing our part efficiently. So then the event will be a success automatically. When I was 5 years old, my azoba started losing his vision due to diabetes. When I was 9 years old, my aji had her first heart attack. And at that time it was decided they won't be able to live on their own, they need some support. My father had moved out to Nasik, other city, for his work, so we were all staying there. And it was decided they will move to Nasik with us. It must have been such a difficult decision for her, leaving all her work, her social life, her house behind. But they did take the decision and they did move to Nasik. But she wasn't sad about that decision. On the other hand, she used to say, Ramji has brought me to this place. Nasik was a place where Ramji stayed in Panchavati. The other important skill of Karma Yoga is selflessness. So one does activity for others' welfare, keeping them the first important person. Soon after they moved to Nasik, my azoba had a stroke and one side of his body was paralyzed. And after that 8 years, my aji was taking care of him. Of course, they had support from her family, but she was the main person to ensure that my azoba's mental health was maintained and he had his dignity. When a person does such a skillful actions, that gives a person peace of mind and equanimity to face any situation in life. For me, my aji was always a loving and caring person. After my azoba's death, her life was mainly doing her puja. She was a big devotee. She was a great bhakt of Vishnuji. We did some pilgrimage with her. She had another heart attack after 3 years of passing my azoba. She always used to sing a bhajan. Itna to karna swami, jab pran tan se nikle. It was a Krishna bhajan describing an ideal death. After her heart attack, she was discharged from hospital. She came home. But I think she knew it's the time. And she asked us to do all the arrangements that she wanted as per her bhajan, that she used to describe in her bhajan. It was, for a 19-year-old me, it was astonishing to see how graceful one can be accepting a death. For me, a person who follows spirituality looked like this. She always did rightful actions that ensured welfare of all the beings around her. Isn't that dharma? And that's why, when I remember my aji, I remember these lines. That is, yoga karmasu kaushalam, which means yoga is skill in action.